Zhang Wanzih was still dazed when she Menlek and had already taken long strides, walking directly to the damaged Rolls minus Royce. He bent slightly, his slender fingers gently tapping the window glass twice. The rear window slowly rolled down, revealing a panic-stricken face that was trying hard to appear composed. Mr. Shimen. Fu Hengyu's voice was trembling, the previous arrogance completely gone. The car is a small matter. Shimen Lycan's voice was as gentle as jade, betraying no emotion, but his phoenix eyes were icy, untaking the person. Fu Hengyu was stunned. Zhang Wanzih, Shimen Lycan uttered 3 words, his tone light but carrying immense weight. She can't afford to pay for this car. She'll come with me. Paimon in flesh. Without giving Fu Hengyu a chance to react, he straightened up and turned to walk towards Zhang Wanzih. Zhang Wanzih's mind went buzz. Paimon in flesh. Was he crazy? Before she could retort, Shimen Lycan was already in front of her. He was a head taller than her, his shadow enveloping her with a strong sense of aggression. Yet in the car, he was brief and to the point. Shimen Lycan. Be reasonable. Zhang Wanzih gritted her teeth, lowering her voice. We broke up 3 years ago, and I'm your nephew's fiancé now. Fiancé? Shimen Lycan seemed to have heard the biggest joke, a mocking curve appearing at the corner of his mouth. Trash like Fu Hengyu is worthy of you stooping so low. Zhang Wanzih, when did your taste become so poor? He reached out and grabbed her wrist. His palm was burning hot, the heat almost scorching her skin through the thin fabric. Let go of me. Zhang Wanzih struggled, but it was like an ant trying to shake a tree. If you don't want the Fu family to know you're hooking up with an ex-boyfriend outside, shut up and behave. Shimen Lycan lowered his head, his thin lips closed to her ear. His warm breath sprayed on the side of her neck, causing a shiver. Or do you want me to tell Fu Hengyu right now who brought up the breakup 3 years ago? And who was crying and begging me not to leave? Zhang Wanzih's face instantly turned deathly pale. That was the most unbearable memory of her past, the secret she desperately tried to hide. Looking into the man's bottomless eyes, Zhang Wanzih knew he was serious. This man had always been someone who meant what he said, especially when it came to getting back at her. She gave up struggling in despair, letting him pull her towards the black Maybach. The car door opened, and Zhang Wanzih was shoved into the back seat. The interior of the car was filled with a faint scent of cedarwood mixed with tobacco. Shimen Lycan's unique smell. For 3 years, she had smelled this scent countless times in her dreams, only to wake up to an empty, cold room. Shimen Lycan got in after her. Sitting beside her, the door closed, cutting off the sound of wind and rain outside, and also cutting off Fu Hengyu's shocked gaze. To Eugene Jibei, Shimen Lycan instructed the driver. Eugene Jibei, a top-tier luxury residential area in northern Beijing where land is worth its weight in gold, was also the Shimen family's territory. The car drove smoothly into the rainy night, the interior eerily quiet. Zhang Wanzih sat in the corner, trying to make herself as small as possible. She stole a glance at the man beside her. After 3 years apart, he had changed a lot. The Shimen Lycan of the past, though cold, was always gentle with her. He would patiently listen to her stories about school, learn to make desserts he wasn't good at for her, and hold her all night to warm her stomach during her period. But now, he exuded a chilling aura that kept people at a distance. The red string tied around his wrist bone was still catching. That was a birthday gift she gave him years ago, bought from a street stall for 5 yuan. He was still wearing it. This realization made Zhang Wanzih's heart ache fiercely. Seen enough? The man's deep voice suddenly rang out, startling Zhang Wanzih. She hurriedly withdrew her gaze, retorting stubbornly. Who's looking at you? I'm looking at the scenery outside. Is the scenery better minus looking than me? Shimen Lycan turned sideways, placing one hand on the back of the seat, encircling her within his territory. Zhang Wanzih was forced to look up, meeting his smiling, half-smirking eyes. Shimen Lycan, what do you really want? Zhang Zhi took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. I'll pay for the car repairs, but I have my own life. Please don't bother me anymore. Hey? She mimicked and chuckled softly, his fingers picking up a strand of her hair, twirling it around his fingertip. The car is a limited edition globally. The repair fee is at least 7 figures. Miss Zhang, I'm afraid your father, with his small business, would go bankrupt and still not be able to afford it? Zhang Zhi bit her lower lip. This was her weakness. Her father's company recently had a broken capital chain and urgently needed funds. That was also why she agreed to the marriage alliance with the Fu family. Then what do you want? Her voice was a bit dry. Simple. She mimicked and released her hair, his fingertips sliding down her cheek, finally stopping at her fragile neck, gently stroking. Be my lover until I get tired of you. Consider the debt settled. Zhang Zhi's pupils contracted sharply. You're shameless. She raised her hand to slap him. She mimicked and easily caught her wrist, pinning her against the seat instead. The distance between them instantly closed, their noses almost touching. Shameless. She mimick's voice turned cold, suppressed anger swirling in his eyes. Zhang Zhi, the one who took 5 million in breakup money without a word and ran away was you. And now you're talking to me about being shameless? Huh? Zhang Zhi was stunned. 5 million? What 5 million? Back then, she left because her mother was seriously ill and needed surgery money, and the Shi-Men family firmly opposed their relationship, at her wit's end. It was Shi-Men-Lycan's aunt who found her, gave her a check, and told her to leave Shi-Men-Lycan. She thought that was Shi-Men-Lycan's intention, that he was giving her up for the sake of the family's interests. That's why she left heartbroken, taking the money. So, I didn't take your money. Zhang Zhi's eyes reddened, her voice trembling. Your aunt gave it to me, she said. Enough. Shi-Men-Lycan cut her off, his gaze cold. You think I'd still believe such a cliché excuse? Zhang Zhi opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. Yeah. If it were her, she wouldn't believe it either. Zhang Zhi, I searched for you very hard these past 3 years. Shi-Men-Lycan leaned closer, his voice low and dangerous. What you owe me, it's time to pay it back with interest. With that, he let go, straightened up, adjusted his slightly wrinkled cough, and resumed his lofty demeanor. We're here. The car slowly stopped in front of a villa. Zhang Zhi pushed the car door open. Cold wind mixed with rain hit her face, making her shiver. Shi-Men-Lycan walked over with an umbrella, not making any move to shield her from the rain, just walking ahead on his own. Come in. Zhang Zhi stood in the rain, watching the door that was about to close, gritting her teeth. She finally followed him in. The villa was brightly lit, decorated in an extremely minimalist black, white, and gray style, as cold and hard as its owner. Go take a shower. Shi-Men-Lycan pointed to the guest room upstairs. Wash up properly. Zhang Zhi was soaked and uncomfortable. Without a word, she silently walked upstairs. The bathroom was filled with steam. Zhang Zhi stood under the shower, letting the hot water wash over her body, but it couldn't wash away the chill in her heart. She thought she would never have anything to do with Shi-Men-Lycan again in this lifetime. Who would have thought fate would play such a trick, making them reunite in this way? After showering, she walked out wrapped in a towel, only to find a brand new set of pajamas on the bed. Black silk. The style. Very sexy. Zhang Zhi's face instantly flushed red. She hesitated for a long time but finally put them on. Since she was going to be devoured by him anyway, what did it matter what she wore? Walking out of the bedroom, Shi-Men-Lycan was sitting on the sofa in the study, smoking. Hearing the noise, he looked up, seeing Zhang Zhi in the black silk pajamas, her wet hair cascading over her shoulders. The dark fire in his eyes instantly flared. Come here. He stubbed out the cigarette, his voice hoarse. Zhang Zhi took a deep breath and walked step by step to him. She men like and reached out and pulled her into his embrace. The familiar body temperature, the familiar embrace, instantly made Zhang Wanzi's eyes redden. She men like and she murmured his name. Call me husband. She men like and cupped the back of her head, forcing her to look at him. Didn't you like calling me that the most before? Zhang Wanzi was so ashamed she wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Speak. She men like and punished her by biting her earlobe. Husband. Zhang Wanzi's voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. Louder. Husband. Zhang Wanzi cried out, her voice choked with sobs. She men like and smiled with satisfaction. He lowered his head and fiercely kissed the lips that had haunted his dreams for 3 years. The kiss was full of punishment and possessiveness, as if wanting to vent all the longing and resentment of these years. Zhang Wanzi passively endured it, her hands weakly clutching his shirt. Just as she was about to suffocate, she manlike and finally released her. He looked at her swollen lips, his eyes dark and unreadable. Zhang Wanzi, remember your status now. He stroked her face, his tone so gentle it was eerie. You're my dog. Without my permission, you are not allowed to look at other men, not allowed to talk to other men, and certainly not allowed to think about running away. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Looking into his bottomless eyes, Zhang Wanzi knew he wasn't joking. This man was the living king of hell in northern Beijing. Wanting to ruin someone was just a matter of a word for him. I know, she said softly. She manlike and nodded with satisfaction, picked her up in his arms, and walked towards the large bed. Tonight, we'll settle the accounts of these 3 years properly. A night of absurdity. When Zhang Wanzi woke up, it was already noon the next day. The space beside her was empty. She manlike and was long gone. Enduring the soreness all over her body, she sat up. Looking at the mess in the room, a bitter smile flashed across her face. Was this the life she wanted? Her phone suddenly rang. It was Fu Hangyu calling. Zhang Wanzi. I hesitated for a moment before answering. Zhang Wanzi, where the hell have you been? Fu Hangyu's angry and flustered voice came from the other end. Where did you go fooling around last night? Do you know how expensive my uncle's car is? Can you afford to pay for it? Zhang Wanzi rubbed her temples. Her voice cold. Don't worry about the car. I'll handle it. You'll handle it? How? By selling yourself. Fu Hangyu mocks. I'm telling you. Since you're my fiancé, you have to pay for this. Also, there's a family banquet tonight. You must attend. Don't embarrass me. After saying that, Fu Hangyu hung up. Zhang Wanzi looked at the blackened screen, feeling nothing but exhaustion. Just then, the door was pushed open. Human-like walked in, wearing a well-tailored handmade suit, looking refreshed and energetic. He was holding a glass of milk, walked to the bedside, and looked down at her. Awake? Zhang Wanzi instinctively pulled the blanket to cover the marks on her body. Fu Hangyu just called me. She manlike and handed her the milk, his tone flat. It seems he still doesn't know whose bed his fiancé spent the night in. Zhang Wanzi took the milk without a word. I'll be at the banquet tonight. She manlike and sat on the edge of the bed, his slender fingers gently tapping his knee. As your male companion. Zhang Wanzi looked up sharply, staring at him in disbelief. Are you crazy? That's the Fu family's banquet. So what? She manlike and raised an eyebrow, a playful smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Just in time. I'd like to see what expression Fu Hangyu will have when he sees me with his fiancé. She manlike and don't go too far. Zhang Wanzi was trembling with anger. Too far? She manlike and leaned closer, lightly pecking her lips. This is just the beginning. The good show is still to come. He stood up, adjusted his tie, and turned to walk out. Drink the milk, build up your strength. I don't want you fainting halfway tonight. At the door, he stopped, his back to Zhang Wanzi. By the way, I'll have someone take care of Fu Hangyu. Your current status is my woman. Remember that. Without waiting for Zhang Wanzi's response, he strode out of the room. Zhang Wanzih, I looked at the glass of still minus steaming milk, and tears finally couldn't help but fall. These past 3 years had been very hard for her. Her father's company went bankrupt, her mother passed away from illness, and she alone shouldered all the burdens. For money, she had to bow to reality and agree to the marriage alliance with the Fu family. She thought that as long as she married Fu Hengyu, even if he didn't love her, at least she could preserve her father's last bit of dignity. But Shi Menliken's appearance disrupted all her plans. This man was like a sudden storm, completely destroying her already precarious life. But why? While heeding him, was there also a secret joy in her heart? Joy that he still remembered her. Joy that he was still wearing that red string. Joy that he still wanted her. Zhang Wanzih, I wiped away her tears, kicked up the glass, and drank the milk in one gulp. Since she couldn't escape, she would face it. After all, she had long had nothing left to lose. Evening, the Fu family banquet. Almost all of northern Beijing's social elite and powerful figures were present. Zhang Wanzih, wearing a white evening gown, held Fu Hengyu's arm as they stood at the entrance greeting guests. Although Fu Hengyu was very dissatisfied with her disappearance last night, he maintained a superficial display of affection in public. Wanzih, be polite when you see my uncle later. Fu Hengyu whispered instructions. He just returned from abroad and has a bad temper. Don't upset him. Zhang Wanzih sneered. Don't worry, I won't cause you any trouble. As they were speaking, a commotion suddenly arose at the entrance. Mr. Shi Men is here. Oh my god, it's really Shi Menliken. He's even more handsome than in the news. I heard he's returning to the country, this time to take over all of the Shi Men family's domestic business. The sky in northern Beijing is about to change. Zhang Wanzih's heart tightened, and she instinctively looked towards the entrance. She saw Shi Menliken, dressed in a black suit, walking in slowly, surrounded by a group of bodyguards. He was like a born king, the center of attention wherever he went. You hurriedly pulled Zhang Wanzih forward to greet him. Uncle, you're here. Fu Hengyu beamed with smiles. Please, come in. Shi Menliken gave him a faint glance, his gaze passing over him and landing on Zhang Wanzih beside him. Terracement, sparks flying. Zhang Wanzih forced herself to appear calm and nodded slightly. Mr. Shi Men. A meaningful smile curled at the corner of Shi Menliken's mouth. He suddenly reached out and, in front of everyone, gently straightened a stray strand of hair by Zhang Wanzih. See you. Miss Zhang, long time no see. His voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for everyone around to hear. Fu Hengyu was stunned. The surrounding guests were also stunned. What was this situation? Did Shi Menliken know Fu Hengyu's fiancé? Zhang Wanzih's face turned deathly pale, her body stiff as she stood in place, not daring to move. Uncle? You too, Fu Hengyu stammered. Oh, I forgot to introduce. Shi Menliken withdrew his hand, looking at Fu Hengyu with a half-minus smile. Your fiancé and I are old acquaintances. 3 years ago we even. Mr. Shi Men. Zhang Wanzih hastily interrupted him, her face ashen. Please shows himself minus respect. Shi Menliken looked at her panicked appearance, a hint of satisfaction flashing in his eyes. Self minus respect? He chuckled softly. Miss Zhang, that's not what you said when you were begging for mercy in my bed last night. Boom. These words exploded like a bomb among the crowd. Fu Hengyu's face instantly turned livid with anger. He looked at Zhang Wanzih in disbelief. Didn't she met like him? Uncle, you're joking, right? Do I need to joke about something like this? Shi Menliken shrugged, taking a red string from his pocket and dangling it from his fingertip. Miss Zhang should be very familiar with this string, right? Zhang Wanzih looked at the red string, feeling the world spin. That was what she gave him years ago. How was it in his hand? What? What's going on? Fu Hangyu's voice trembled. What's going on? Ask your good fiancé. She meant like and put the red string away, giving Zhang Wanzi a cold glance. Fu Hengyu, control your woman. Next time she goes around randomly acknowledging relatives outside, I won't be so polite. With that, he turned and walked into the depths of the banquet hall, leading behind an arrogant. Fu Hengyu trembled with anger. He threw off Zhang Wanzi's hand, gritting his teeth and cursing Zhang Wanzi. Explain this to me clearly. What the hell is going on? Zhang Wanzi. I looked at the pointing and murmuring gazes around her, feeling utterly disgraced. She knew her life was completely in shambles, and the mastermind behind it all was standing not far away, holding a wine glass, watching this farce with great interest. There wasn't a trace of pity in his eyes, only the satisfaction of revenge. Zhang Wanzi, this is just the beginning. The game has only just begun.